Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Afternoon. So, what we have discussed in the previous class, we have completed error and flow control techniques in TCP. Okay, what are the
Yes.
techniques? Okay, what are the techniques for error control?
Ma'am, checksum, then acknowledgement, and then retransmission.
Okay, so we have discussed these things. Okay, so in case of acknowledgement, we have discussed different rules for deciding when um, to generate the acknowledgement packet. Okay, so these rules must be followed so that we can reduce the number of segments. Okay, so that we can reduce the congestion in the network also. Okay, but it cannot be delayed also. Okay, so unnecessary delay means there will be a retransmission, so that we have to consider. Okay, so after this the next function provided by the TCP is congestion control. Okay, so what do you mean by congestion control? So already we have discussed the flow control. So what is the aim of the flow control technique? Why do we need to use flow control techniques? So what is the objective?
Like the sender can, like there's a chance where the sender can send data very fast and the receiver will be like receiving data very slowly. So in that case, we'll be having a lot of packets inside the network, and like there'll be a lot
Okay.
of congestion. So to reduce
Okay,
that,
so
we use flow
so
control.
ultimate goal is to reduce the congestion. Okay, so that is by reducing that is reducing or increasing whatever it is. Okay, the flow speed is reduced, then it is possible to have the congestion within the limit. Okay, so already we have the flow control techniques, and why do we need to have the congestion control technique then? Is it clear? Whether my question is clear? So already we have the flow control techniques. Okay, so it regulates the transmission speed, okay, with respect to the transmitter and the destination. So apart from this, why do we need to go for congestion control?
Because congestion can occur like through other ways as well, like how we previously saw, like by using cumulative acknowledgement, we can decrease congestion. Like if we acknowledge for every packet, then there'll be more congestion, right? So
Okay, so again Vasu, that is it is related with the destination side. So the destination is going to provide the cumulative acknowledgement.
oh,
So why do we need to have the congestion control? Okay, so is there any other possible way to have the congestion during the data transmission? Okay, so what are the possible way of having the communication between the two devices? It may be connected with a dedicated line. Okay, then
sending data or retransmission.
no. So I'm talking about the intermediate things between the source and destination. Okay, so any answer? Okay, so the destination may be reached with one hub. That is, we can have the direct connection to the destination. So in this case, there won't be any problem. Okay, so whenever the destination is ready, then it can receive. Okay, no need to worry about any kind of problems. Okay, suppose if the destination is reached with some intermediate nodes. Okay, that is the destination may be in the same network, or it may be in the different network. That is, in order to reach the destination, we have to cross several intermediate networks. Okay, so now you tell the answer for my question, why do we need to have the congestion control in addition to the flow control techniques? I have given the sufficient statement, sufficient background for answering this question.
Ma'am, so I guess since we're using a lot of intermediate networks, there's a good chance that like suppose if you want to reach network C from A, and like we have two other networks A and B, and A and B sending data from source to some node in C. So
Okay.
basically, like multiple networks can communicate to one intermediate node. So in that case, congestion can happen.
Yeah, exactly, Vasu. The reason is if you are going to have the too many intermediate devices between the source and destination, there is a possibility of the congestion in the middle. Okay, so if you are going to have the flow control technique means it will control the congestion according only to the destination. Okay, but it doesn't bother about the intermediate nodes. Okay, because we have too many routers between the source and destination, and if any one of the routers is overloaded, okay, then the packet will be dropped. So even though you are going to have the same transmission and reception date in the source and destination side, okay, so there may be a packet class at the middle. Okay, so we need to consider the congestion in the network point of view also. Okay, so that is if you have the congestion, that is if you are going to have the congestion related with the destination means it is only the local issue. Okay, but the congestion control is a global issue. Okay, that is we need to consider all intermediate nodes between the source and destination. Okay, so by having the flow control techniques, we can control the congestion at the destination side, and by having the congestion control techniques, we can reduce the congestion in the middle of the network also. Okay, clear? Okay, so for the flow control technique, we have used receive window size. Okay, so how will you calculate the receive window size? Because that will be useful for the flow control techniques. That is, it tells about the capability of the receiver. Okay, that is how many segments the transmitter needs to transmit like that. Okay, so how will you calculate the receive window? Already we have discussed, in the previous slides.
We subtract the amount of data in the buffer.
Yeah, that is this receive window is nothing but buffer size minus the number of bytes yet to be consumed. Okay, so this is related with the flow control techniques. That is, we can have the receive window for the destination side. And in order to have the congestion control, okay, the TCP uses the another variable called congestion window. Okay, that's CWND, congestion window. Okay, so we'll see how to calculate this with an example. So here, the actual window size needs to be measured comparing these two window sizes. That is, we need to consider the receive window size as well as the congestion window size. Okay. So how to select the window size now? So now you have two possibilities. So receive window size, okay, it controls the congestion at the destination side, okay, and then congestion window, okay, used for controlling the congestion at the middle of the network. Okay, so now how will you select the actual window size? So between these two, we have to select any one. Okay, so what should be the criteria for selecting one and two choices? So either we have to select the maximum of these two or minimum of these two. Why there is no response? It's a very simple question, no? Okay, so I will give some example. So the receive window size is 10. Okay, that is actually the receiver is able to receive only 10 segments. Okay, and the congestion window is only 5. Okay, because we have the severe congestion in the middle of the network. Then what will be the actual window size for the
It will only be
transmitter?
5. It will only be 5.
So 5 means it is a
Minimum.
minimum of
Yeah.
congestion window and the receive window. Okay, so in the previous examples we have seen only the receive window. Okay, but actually the source needs to consider these two values and it has to select the minimum. Okay, so based on that the data transmission speed is increased if there is no congestion. Okay, and if there is a congestion, then we have to reduce. Okay, so by selecting the minimum of these two, okay, we are going to have the window size. Okay, so before getting into this technique, okay, how will you detect the congestion in the network? What are the ways? I think we have discussed in the previous slides. How will you detect the congestion in the network? What are the possible reasons?
When there's a timeout, like
Yeah,
when a packet is
exactly.
sent, but it doesn't get an acknowledgement from from the receiver.
Okay, so exactly the first important reason is timeout. So based on the timeout, okay, the transmitter can assume that there is a congestion in the network. Then one more possibility.
And can you also consider packet loss as this thing?
So packet loss related with the timeout. If there is a packet loss, then there won't be any acknowledgement. Okay, so it automatically triggers the timeout in transmitter. So that's what Vasu told. Then okay, I show the diagram. So from the diagram, you may get some information. Yeah, here. The second reason is in this diagram. Okay, so what is the event here? Here we have the packet loss. Okay, but the client is able to receive the three duplicate acknowledgement packets. Okay, so this is the another sign of the congestion detection. Okay, because the packet is lost due to the congestion in the network. Okay, but anyway the server is able to transmit the three acknowledgements, and those three acknowledgements are received by the client. Okay, so there are two possibilities in order to detect the congestion. The first one is the timeout, okay, and the second one is when the transmitter receives three duplicate acknowledgement packets. Okay, but in these two cases, the timeout indicates the severe congestion in the network. Okay, but in case of three duplicate acknowledgement, we have only less congestion in the network. Okay, because only one packet is lost, but three packets have been received successfully. So it indicates the less congestion in the network. Okay, so by having the timeout and three duplicate acknowledgement packets, we can detect the congestion. So based on that, we have to take the corrective measures. Okay, so that is in terms of the congestion control techniques. Okay. Okay, so there are three methods for congestion. The first one is we have the slow start. Okay, then we have the congestion avoidance, and we have the fast recovery. Okay, so there are three methods. Okay, that is we are going to use these three algorithms. The first one is a slow start, the second one is congestion avoidance, and the third one is fast recovery. Okay, so based on the TCP protocol types, some of the TCP protocols have used only the two algorithms. Okay, that is a slow start and congestion avoidance. Okay, and in some variations we have the fast recovery also. Okay, but each and every case we have some problems. Okay, it is not possible to have uh, the best algorithm, okay, for minimizing the congestion in the network. Okay, so there are some pros and cons for each and every variants of TCP. Okay, so just we are going to start with the slow start. Okay, so here so after discussing this diagram, okay, so you may thought that the slow start meaning is different with respect to the working principle. Okay, so that will come at the end of this topic. Okay, so here we have the congestion window. Okay, so here there are some assumptions. Okay, with based on those assumptions, we have the working of the slow start phase, which is given in the figure. Okay, so here always the window size, actual window size equals to congestion window. Okay, we are not bothered about the receive window. So assume that the receive window is much larger than the congestion window. Okay, that is the congestion window value is smaller than the receive window, so the actual window size is congestion window only. So that's why we have only the congestion window here. Okay, and by seeing this diagram, okay, so it is assumed that we have the same sized packet. Okay, so that too each and every packet has the maximum segment size data. Okay, so this is the new term, maximum segment size. Okay, so already we have discussed maximum segment lifetime. Okay, so after that lifetime, the packet is discarded. So now we are introducing the new term, maximum segment size. What do you mean by maximum segment size? Any guess? So it is included, this field is included in the options. Okay, so that's what we didn't discuss when we have discussed the TCP segment format. Okay, so it is included in the options. Okay, so this value needs to be finalized during the connection establishment phase. Okay, so what do you mean by maximum segment size? So that is nothing but the maximum amount of data, okay, that can be included in a single segment, okay, without considering the TCP and IP header. Okay, clear? So only the user data are going to be considered, okay, when you are going to have the maximum segment size. Okay, so after having those data bytes, you may have the TCP header and IP header. Okay, so when you are going to calculate the maximum segment size, exclude your TCP header size and the IP header size. Okay, so it gives the maximum amount of data that the receiver is able to do the processing in a single segment. Okay, clear? So if the maximum segment size is too high, then what will happen? So actually its value is 536 bytes, I think so. Okay, so that is the default value. So if you are going to change those things, then it needs to be mentioned in the option and it needs to be exchanged during the connection establishment phase. Okay, but it is not always possible to have 536. You may have more number of bytes in your data. Then what we have to do?
Ma'am, can you repeat? 536 is the maximum segment size?
Yes,
Okay.
that is a default standard value. But in real time, it is not possible to have only 536 data bytes in each and every segment. Your message may have too many bytes. Then what will be the solution?
You split the data.
So splitting means we have to do the fragmentation. Okay, so it increases the additional overhead. So if you are doing the fragmentation, then each and every fragmented packets we have to add the headers. So it increases the control overhead. Okay, so this is in one extreme point. In the another extreme, it is not possible to have very lesser number of bytes as the maximum segment size. Okay, say for example, you may not have 10 bytes as a maximum segment size. Okay, because what will happen if you are going to have 10 bytes as a maximum segment size? We have too many
Ma'am, there'll be
fragments.
too many. Yeah, it will cause congestion.
Yeah, that is, you are going to have too many packets, and each and every packet we need to have the header information. So if the number of packet is increased, then obviously the congestion is also increased. Okay, so we have to take care of these two extreme points. Okay, clear? Okay, so we have discussed what are the assumptions here, and here the one more thing is by seeing these lines, okay, for each and every segment we have the individual acknowledgements. Okay, clear? This is not the cumulative acknowledgement. For each and every data segment we have the individual acknowledgement. Okay, so with these assumptions and the meaning for MSS, that is maximum segment size, we are going to discuss the slow start. Okay, so here the slow start phase is started, that is it starts working very slowly. Okay, because so at the initial time the congestion window size is one maximum segment size, that is 1 MSS. Okay, so it is mentioned here, that is 1 MSS means we can transmit only one segment. Okay, so this segment is started here. Okay, during this point it is received and the acknowledgement is also received. Okay, so this duration is nothing but RTT, that is round trip time. Okay, so RTT round trip time is nothing but the amount of time that the segment takes in order to reach the receiver and the time taken for receiving the acknowledgement. Okay, so here we are not assuming any errors, any packet loss and anything else. Okay, error free channel is assumed. Okay, so after one RTT, okay, that is after one round trip time, we have received the acknowledgement. Okay, so after receiving this, so what is the change in the congestion window? So previously it was
increase.
1, so now it is 2. That is, the congestion window is incremented by 1 for this single acknowledgement. Okay, that is after receiving this single acknowledgement, the congestion window is incremented by 1. Okay, so now what is the thing here? So here the congestion window size is 2 MSS. Okay, that is we can transmit 2 segments. Okay, so transmit 2 segments, and for each segments we have the individual acknowledgements. Okay, so this is the second RTT, that is transmission time of the first segment and the reception time of the last acknowledgement, that is a final acknowledgement from the receiver. Okay, so now the congestion window is 4. How?
Ma'am, it
So I
will
told
receive
that,
2 packets. It will receive 2 acknowledgements back. So
yeah, exactly. That is the previous value is 2. So now it receives 2 acknowledgements. So 2 plus 2 is 4. Okay. So now 4 segments can be transmitted before waiting for the acknowledgement. That is one by one we can transmit. Okay. For all these 4 segments, 4 acknowledgements are received. The previous value is 4. So now 4 acknowledgements are received. 4 plus 4 is 8. Okay, so like this it continues. Okay, so it started with a small value. Okay, that is it is started very slowly. Okay, and it grows exponentially. Okay, that is 2, 4, 8. Then what is the next value? So after receiving 8 acknowledgements, okay, it will be exponentially incremented. So then it will be 16, like that. Okay, so here we have to consider 2 things. When we have to stop this exponential increment, and the second point is if we have the delay in the acknowledgement or if we have the cumulative acknowledgement, what will happen for this slow start algorithm. So these 2 things yet to be discussed. Okay, so up to this is it clear?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the congestion window value is calculated with respect to the number of acknowledgements. For each and every acknowledgement, it is incremented by 1. Okay, okay, that is after the first RTT, it is 2. After the second RTT, it is 4. Then after the third one, it is 8, and so on. Okay, so this is with respect to RTT. Okay, so coming to my first question. So when we have to stop this exponential increment? So if you are going to continue with the exponential increment, what will happen? So transmitting
Ma'am,
a
at
single,
one point, yeah, at one point, the congestion window size will be greater than receive window size, so it will be restricted to that, right?
yeah. So, but you assume that the receive window is much larger than this. Okay, say for example, you have next value is 16, 16 segments will be transmitted, and 32, 64, like that. Okay, so if we are increasing the number of segments exponentially, it will increase the traffic exponentially. Clear? The amount of data is increased exponentially, so it will trigger the congestion in future. Okay, so we have to reduce, that is we have to stop this exponential increment at one point, then we have to proceed with some other policies. Okay, so the thing is we need to have some stopping criteria for stopping this exponential increment. So this is the information. Okay, so it is not possible to continuously follow the exponential increment on the congestion window. Okay, so this is one thing. So that is addressed by the next phase, that's a congestion avoidance. So that will be discussed in the next slide. Okay, so coming to my second question. If the acknowledgement is delayed, then so assume that this acknowledgement is delayed, then what will happen? The entire process will be delayed. Your slow start is further delayed. Okay, so here
And
you
so if
have
you
four.
keep waiting till you receive acknowledgement, what if it gets lost?
Yeah, that we have to discuss. Okay, so we have to discuss if the acknowledgement is lost or if the acknowledgement is delayed. Okay, so here the congestion window is calculated after receiving the exact number of acknowledgements which are matching with the number of segments which are transmitted. Okay, suppose this third acknowledgement, okay, so considering the third RTT, so this acknowledgement is delayed, then what will be the congestion window value after receiving the first two acknowledgements?
It
So
will be
assume,
6.
yeah, it will be 6. Okay, that is, in order to have the exponential growth, we have to wait further. Okay, because your acknowledgement is delayed. So whenever the third acknowledgement is received, then it will be 7. Okay, but reaching 7 takes much time. Okay, clear? So that is the point. Okay, so assume that if the acknowledgement is last, or if you are going to have a single cumulative acknowledgement for these 4 segments, what will happen? What is the congestion window size? So instead of receiving these 4 acknowledgements, okay, only one cumulative acknowledgement is sent. So what is the congestion window size here?
Maybe 5.
It is 5. Okay, because I told that the congestion window is incremented after receiving each and every single acknowledgement. Okay, if one acknowledgement is received, increase the congestion window by 1. If 2 acknowledgements, then increase the congestion window by 2, like that. Okay, but if you are,
I don't understand how this will save uh, the network from being congested.
okay, so if here, no, I couldn't able to clearly understand your question. So before that, I
Ma'am,
will.
so,
Tell.
ma'am, let's say that there are two processes that are working parallelly.
Okay.
And ma'am, so like initially both start at 1, so like maybe according to ma'am, so like that congestion window size, what is that again? It just
And so it decides how many segments needs to be transmitted by the source.
yes, ma'am. So it starts with 1, right?
Okay.
So ma'am, so now both processes start at 1, and then again, like ma'am, like you said, it exponentially increases. So now at one point, both will be transmitting so many packets that
So
how
again,
will
there will
you?
be a problem.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is we have discussed with respect to only one source and destination. So if you are going to have the too many source and destination, okay, either the transmission will be delayed with respect to the math algorithm. Okay, so if already you have some ongoing transmission, okay, then the other source and destination pair cannot start.
Okay.
Okay, clear? So that those algorithms will be discussed in the data link layer. That is, before starting the transmission, the device needs to check the medium. Okay, if it is idle, then it can start. But there is a possibility that both the stations may start the transmission at the same time. So if it happens, then again the collision. Then it increases the congestion. No other way. So this will happen for the intermediate nodes more specifically. Okay, so the router may receive one segment from one source, and it may receive the another packet from the other source, which may be in the different network. Okay, so then the router is more congested. So there is no other way. But we are trying to minimize the congestion, that's it. Because it is not possible to predict the exact network status at any point of time. Anything will happen at any time. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. So assume that for each and every 2 acknowledgements, okay? That is, if you are going to have the cumulative acknowledgement for each and every 2 segments, okay? Then what will happen? Still you have the exponential increment, but not in powers of 2, okay? Clear? You may have the exponential increment, but the base may not be 2. So for this diagram, we have 2 power 0 it is 1, 2 power 1 is 2, 2 power 2 is 4, and 2 power 3 is 8, like that. Okay, that is we have the exponential increment with the base 2. Okay, and if you are using the cumulative acknowledgement, or if you are going to transmit the acknowledgement for each and every 2 segments, then you may not have the exponential increment with powers of 2. So that is the thing. Okay, clear? Okay, so according to the first problem, that is we have to start this exponential increment at one point. Okay, so that point is given by the threshold value called as slow start threshold value, SS threshold. It is called as SS threshold. Okay, that is whenever the congestion window reaches the threshold value, then we have to start this exponential increment. Then we have to go to the next phase, that is congestion avoidance. Okay, so up to this, okay, there is no congestion. That is, before occurring the congestion, we are aiming to prevent this. Okay, that is, we have to avoid the congestion in advance. Okay, because it is not possible to have the exponential increment in all the times. Okay, so if it happens, then definitely there will be a congestion. So it is better to start this exponential increment at one point of time. Then we may have some additive increments. Okay, instead of having the exponential increments. Okay, so this is followed by the congestion avoidance. Okay, so to avoid the congestion before it happens, we are going to do the congestion avoidance phase. Okay, so here again assume that we have the source and destination. So here the congestion window size is 4. Okay, assume that this is the threshold value. So once the threshold value is reached, okay, so assume that up to 4 we can have the exponential increment. It means that the congestion window size was 1, 2 and 4. Okay, so once it reaches 4, then we cannot have the exponential increment further. Okay, because our threshold value is 4. Okay, so now what is the meaning? 4 segments are transmitted, 4 acknowledgements are received. Okay, so after receiving these 4 acknowledgements, okay, the congestion window size is incremented by 1. Okay, so this is not with respect to the number of acknowledgements it receives. Okay, that is we have to receive, that is we have to receive the entire window of segments. That is, we need to receive the acknowledgements for the entire window worth of segments. So what is the window size? 4. So we need to receive 4 acknowledgements. Then only we can go for the linear increment. Okay, so the next time it is 5. So when 5 acknowledgements are received, then it is incremented by 2. Okay, that is I plus 2. Okay, clear?
Now,
So
how
like
is it
this,
deciding that I plus 2 again?
I plus 2 means, so what is the window size here? 5. So after having the acknowledgement for these 5 segments, then the value is incremented. Okay, so initially I is 4. So the next time it will be 5. Next time it will be 4 plus 2, it is 6. Okay, that is each and every time we have incremented linearly.
Okay, so this is just like you can say maybe you're just maintaining a separate variable and you're keeping on incrementing and you're adding to that. Because like in the last case, for every packet we added 1, right?
Yeah,
So
for every acknowledgement.
yes, I'm sorry, for every acknowledgement. Yeah. So in this case, ma'am, what is that parameter? That is what I'm asking.
So it is a congestion window. So here I equal to 4. So this 4 is nothing but the threshold value. Okay. So here after incrementing the congestion window, it is verified with the threshold value. So according to this example, it is 4. So 1 less than 4 condition is true. So we are going to have the exponential increment. In order to have that exponential increment, we have to wait for 1 acknowledgement. Okay, so after this again we are checking this congestion window value with respect to the threshold value. It is 4, 2 less than 4. Okay, so we can proceed, but we have to wait for the 2 acknowledgements in order to have the next exponential incremented value, like that. Okay, that is we have to count the number of acknowledgements.
Yes, ma'am. In this case, yes, I'm asking about the next one, ma'am. What is the parameter out here?
Which parameter?
No, ma'am, like the increment parameter, in the sense that you're just taking
It's a
1 to
concession.
like that. Huh?
No, it is a concession window. So here I is taken for example. Okay. There is
Yes,
no
ma'am.
meaning.
So, no, no. I'm saying like there we incremented by considering the number of packets. That was the number of.
Number of acknowledgement. Okay. So
Oh, yes, no,
here,
number of acknowledgement. Sorry. Here, ma'am, what are we doing? That's what I'm asking. Ma'am,
so here
what is that 1 to signify?
1 2 it is we have the linear increment. So this is I plus 1, this is I plus 2. It is 5 here. This concession window is 5, and so when you are receiving these 5 these 5 acknowledgements, the concession window value is incremented by 1. So the previous value is I plus 1. So now it is incremented by 1. So I plus 2 like that.
Okay, okay. It's just I plus 1. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. Got it. Got
Okay.
it.
Yeah. 4 plus 1, 4 plus 2, 4 plus 3 like that.
Ma'am, so increment
Ah.
happens every time we receive the like when the number of acknowledgement packets equals to the number of packets sent, right?
Yeah, so otherwise we can have the congestion window with respect to an acknowledgement, that is congestion window is equal to congestion window plus 1 by congestion window. 1 second. Is my screen is visible?
Yes, ma'am.
No, so I'm 1 second. I share my desktop, then it will be easy. Okay, so now it is visible now. So here, if we are going to consider the congestion window, so we can have congestion window is equal to the previous value plus 1 by congestion window. Okay, so if you are going to consider each and every acknowledgement separately. Okay, so consider this case. Okay, so congestion window value is 4. Okay, so the previous value is 4 plus 1 by congestion window 4. Okay, so this is the value after receiving this first acknowledgement. Okay, then after receiving the second one, okay, so whatever the value we are going to have from this, so it will be the congestion window plus 1 by congestion window like that. So after receiving the fourth acknowledgement, then we'll get 5. That is each and every time it is incremented with 0.25.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so this is with respect to the number of acknowledgements which we have received.
Okay, understood.
Oh. Okay, so coming to the PPT. Okay. Okay, so now we are going to discuss the two variants of TCP protocol, TCP Tahoe and the TCP Reno. So first we'll discuss the procedure, then we'll move on to an example. Okay, so here there is no faster recovery in this type. Okay, so we have the slow start. Okay, so here we have started the threshold value is exchanged during the connection establishment phase. Okay, and the initial value of the congestion window is 1, that is we can transmit one segment. Okay, so now we are in the slow start. So if an acknowledgement, there is a single acknowledgement is received, then the congestion window is incremented by 1. Okay, clear? For each and every single acknowledgement it is incremented by 1. Okay, and here the another possibility is we may have the timeout period, or we may have the 3 duplicate acknowledgements. Okay, and if any of these two events is occurred, means we have to reduce, that is we have to change the threshold value, and we have to reset the congestion window size as 1 maximum segment size. Okay, so whenever the timeout is occurred, so what is the current congestion window? So that is divided by 2. Okay, so that will be the threshold value. Okay, so with respect to that threshold value, again we are starting the slow start phase with congestion window as 1 maximum segment size. Okay, so we are assumed that we have received an acknowledgement. Okay, and we are reaching the threshold value also. Okay, so if the congestion window is equal to or greater than the threshold value, then we are moving to the congestion avoidance, okay, in order to avoid the congestion before it happens. Okay, so during this phase, if an acknowledgement is received, okay, we are going to do the congestion window increment like this, as I said before. Okay, so in this phase also there is a possibility of having the timeout or 3 duplicate acknowledgements. Okay, so again we are going to follow the same step. Okay, that is we are going back to the slow start with the reduced threshold value and with one MSS for the congestion window. Okay, but in this diagram we have the limitation. Okay, because as I said earlier, timeout means it is a severe congestion. Okay, 3 duplicate acknowledgement means it is a less congestion. Okay, in both the cases we are taking the same step. Okay, but the timeout needs to be treated differently from the 3 duplicate acknowledgement case. Okay, so if you are following the same procedure for these two things, okay, we may not get the better performance. Okay, so that is a problem in TCP Tahoe. Okay, clear? So we'll see an example here. Okay, so I have given the same diagram here, and this is an example. Okay, so assume that the threshold values are 16. Okay, and we are starting with one maximum segment size as a congestion window. So initially we are in slow start phase. Okay, so after receiving the acknowledgement, so this dot indicates the acknowledgement reception. Okay, so after receiving the acknowledgement, the congestion window size is incremented. Okay, it is 2 now. Okay, then it is 4, then it is 8. Okay, that is we have the exponential increment. Okay, so assume that we have the congestion deduction by experiencing the timeout period. Okay, so after having the 8 segments, okay, we have the timeout period. So what we have to do, so if there is a timeout in the slow start, we have to change the threshold value, which is nothing but congestion window by 2. So what is the congestion window? It is 8. 8 by 2 is 4. So now 4 will be the threshold value. Okay, and what is the congestion window? It is 1. Okay, so again we are going to start the slow start. Okay, starting from one segment size. Okay, so now we have received the another acknowledgement, so we have 2, then it is another exponential increment 4, but we are reaching the threshold value. Okay, so once we have this condition, then we are going to the congestion avoidance, that is we are going to have the linear increment. Okay, see here 5, 6, 7, 8 and so on. Okay, so this will be continued. Okay, so here if we have the 3 duplicate acknowledgements, okay, then what will happen? So from the congestion avoidance phase to we are moving to the slow start phase. Okay, so what is the threshold value now? So now the congestion window is 12 by 2. 12 by 2 is 6. So now the new threshold value is 6. Okay, and the congestion window size is 1. So we are starting with 1, and after receiving the acknowledgement it is 2, then it is 4, then it is 6. Okay, that is we are reaching the threshold value 6. Okay, but actually from 4 to we have to move on to the 8. Okay, but when you are reaching the threshold value, then we have to stop at this point, then we are having the linear increment. Okay, clear? So here, as I said earlier, there is a problem. There is no differentiation between the timeout event and the 3 duplicate acknowledgements. But it is considered in the TCP Reno. This is another type. Okay. So here, in order to differentiate the timeout and the 3 duplicate acknowledgements, we have introduced the fast recovery phase. Okay. So here, so you see here, the similar to the previous one, we have started with the congestion window as 1. And if there is a timeout, okay, we are moving back to the initial state of the slow start. But when you are having the 3 duplicate acknowledgements, we are reducing the threshold value, but we are not reducing the congestion window size to 1. Okay, because if 3 duplicate acknowledgement means there is less congestion in the network. So why don't we need to send some more packets? So if there is a congestion really in the network, then we have to reduce. But anyway, it is possible to receive 3 duplicate packets. So instead of going back to the initial size, Okay, we are increasing the congestion window as threshold plus 3. Okay, so this is the faster recovery stage. Okay, so in this stage also we can have three possibilities. Okay, there is a possibility of having the timeout. The same steps needs to be followed here also. Okay, or you may have the another duplicate acknowledgement. Okay, then the congestion window is incremented by 1. Okay, suppose if you are going to have the new acknowledgement, then the congestion window equals to threshold value. Okay, then we have to go to congestion avoidance. Okay, so in order to have the linear increment. Clear? We'll see an example here. So we have seen the same thing for the previous example also, but here we have the faster recovery phase. Okay, clear? So here I think up to this there won't be any doubt. Okay, so here we have reached 3 duplicate acknowledgement. So now we are in the congestion avoidance. Okay, so if you are in the congestion avoidance phase and you are receiving the 3 duplicate means we are moving to faster recovery stage. Okay, so what is the threshold value? Which is nothing but congestion window by 2. Okay, so what is the congestion window size? It is 12. So now the threshold value is 6. Okay, and the congestion window size is threshold value plus 3. Okay, so what is the value? 6 plus 3, it is 9. So the size of the congestion window is 9. So we can transmit 9 segments. Okay, then we are following the same thing, 9, 10 like that. Okay, so based on this we can have the congestion window size updation. Okay, so in this phase also we can do some more modification. Why do we need to increase the congestion window by a threshold value plus 3? Why cannot be 4? Why cannot be 5 like that? Or we can do a threshold value plus 2 also. Okay, so it may give the some other variants of the TCP types. That's it. Okay, for each and every case we have plus and minus. Okay, so these are only 2 types. Okay, we have a lot of other TCP variants. Okay, so it treats each and every event separately, and we can have some more modification over this. Okay, I think I have given some assignments related to this also. I don't know which group is taking. Okay, so I think we have completed the TCP. That is our transport layer has been completed. Okay, so next one we are going to start with the network layer in the next class. Okay, so any doubts?
Ma'am, I have a doubt regarding the last, like the previous lab, the first question, the C part, like the C, sorry, the B part. The B part we had to find the packet delay basically.
Packet
So
delay. Okay.
yes, ma'am. So like the thing is, like if in one interval, if we send a packet, there's a possibility that we receive that packet in another interval. So, like, is it fine if we just find the packet delay with respect to one packet, like the packet delay of one packet ID? Is that fine?
So why don't you calculate the delay for a single source? Okay, you consider one source. Okay, and from that source you have for example 10 packets. For those 10 packets you have some different delay values. Add those values and give that value as a delay for a particular source.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay,
So like,
so if you are going to repeat the same for all the remaining sources, then you will have the delay for the entire network. That's it.
this one, like, but like, should we get it in time intervals, or is it fine if we can just directly find it, like
So
directly
if it
add
is
them?
in the time interval, then you can observe the performance more clearly. So it is better to have the delay with respect to the time interval.
Yes, ma'am. But like, usually when you take some time interval, like, there can be a delay. Like if we send at the end of one interval, it will be received at the beginning of the next interval, right? So it
Yeah,
won't give
so that
accurate
would be
results.
a delay.
Yeah, but then that way it won't be accurate results exactly, right? Because we're calculating with respect to one delay, with respect to one interval.
Not with respect to one interval means you have started the simulation, say for example 10 milliseconds. Okay, then when will you calculate the next delay? So if you are going to calculate the delay by 11 millisecond, then you may not have the performance exactly. Okay, so 10 millisecond, then 20 millisecond, like that. Then you will see some difference.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, did I answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. So basically, we have to just like find the average of all the packet delays, and then we can display that.
Yeah,
Is
then
it
if
like
you are finding the average, then put average delay, like that. So whatever you are going to calculate, give that name alone. So if you are going to calculate the delay only for a particular source, you give the name title as the delay for a source with ID, like that. Okay.
okay? Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
So any other clarifications? Okay, so tomorrow if you have any free slots, inform me so that I will be taking tomorrow one extra class. So otherwise we have to come for class on Saturday. Okay. So sorry for telling this. I don't have any other way because we are very slow. Okay, so we need to complete more topics. So from the next unit onwards, we have to solve so many problems also. So it will be time consuming one. So that's why I'm going to plan for extra classes. Okay, so if you are going to give some any free slot by tomorrow, then it is okay. So otherwise, Saturday morning we will be having the class. Okay,
And Saturday morning we have honor CT, ma'am.
and the time.
10 to 11, ma'am. So uploading time will be 11:30.
Okay. So then, how many of the students are going to take?
I guess this class 9.
9. So it won't be a problem. So we'll start by 11:30 then. Okay. So if possible, arrange some.
I'll try to find a slot tomorrow, ma'am. But
Okay. So if it is not possible, then Saturday 11:30.
okay, ma'am. But during networks like sometime like that, will it be possible, ma'am?
During the lab class.
Yes, ma'am.
No, it is not possible because each and every batch may have the different timing. Okay, so it is not possible to have simultaneously both the classes. We cannot do. Okay. So we'll see. Thank you, students. So we'll see in the next class. Bye.